Hello and welcome to episode 32 of Mouse's Makes. I'm Mandy, sometimes known as Mouse, and this is where I like to show off the things that I've been making. If you are returning, thank you for sticking with me. If you're new, I hope you stick around. There's usually a small amount of chaos, but hopefully every now and again things run smoothly. There's no telling at the beginning of the video what it's going to be like. Right, I've been a very busy bee since last week. I am, for those of you that don't know, trying to clear my needles. There are about 1 million things that I want to cast on. I've got an A4 ring binder completely full of things that I want to do next. There's quite a few. I've also been gifted in the last couple of days, or last couple of weeks really, some patterns from my wish list. Some as part of the Get Your Yarn Wish Granted thing, and one at the weekend from my lovely friend Nikki, who was feeling a bit sorry for me because I'd ordered a yarn advent from a shop that I've used an awful lot, and it came and I was very, very disappointed. I'm not going to say which shop. The shop is now closed. Whether that's temporarily or permanently, I don't know. But I don't think it's fair to call people out on a platform such as this. There's obviously some sort of problem going on with the person who owns the shop. And I don't know what that is. So it's not really my business to be bad-mouthing them. So suffice it to say, I was a little bit disappointed, and Nikki felt sorry for me and she bought me a pattern to try and make up for it, which was very, very kind of her. Very unnecessary, but very kind of her. And I had hoped to print it out and show you, but our printer ran out of ink. And although the ink has arrived, my husband has yet to put it in the printer, and that is just beyond the realms of anything that I can do with the printer. I can press the buttons on my phone or on my laptop and make it print things, and that's it. I can put paper in, because I frequently have to put more paper in, but that's the extent of my involvement with the printer. So I don't have the pattern to show. But I just wanted to say thank you very much, Nikki. I was very touched by it, and it was completely unnecessary and a very sweet thing to do. So thank you. So that is quite high on the list of things that I want to get cast on. But I'm not allowing myself to cast anything else on until I've cleared the needles of all my Christmas knits, and I've got quite a lot of gift knitting going on. There's still 2 things that I need to cast on for Christmas gifts. There's a glue. I had a sweater, a tee for myself on the needles. Managed to clear that one off. And then there's my son's cardigan, which I knit the back up quite quickly. I enjoyed knitting the back, but I don't like knitting cardigans because there's 2 fronts and there's a button band, and the button band on this particular cardigan, rather than picking up the stitches and knitting it outwards or inwards, you put the stitches on hold and then you knit 9 stitches for about 1 million miles. It's putting me off getting on with it, to be fair. Although it has occurred to me, I haven't got it up here to show you, I didn't think to bring it up. It has occurred to me that what I could do is, I've done about that much of the front. I could knit the button bands up as I go and then get it up to almost where I am, stitch it on, so that it's not a big thing to do all in one go. That's a plan I have for getting that off the needles, but I really have got to do it before I cast on anything new for myself, because that's what happened with it last time. It got cast on and then, like some kind of knitting magpie, my attention was drawn by all the new shiny things, and so it just got left. Excuse me, keep shifting around. I'm sitting at a funny angle and my back is unsupported and I just feel a little bit odd. So that is still to be cleared off the needles. I have, however, as I just said, finished this. This has been going on for quite a while. The pattern is the Rocket Tee by Tanis Fibre Arts, Tanis Laverly. This is my third attempt at it. My first one went horribly wrong. I had 22 inches of positive ease. I literally could have used it as a tent to go camping in. My second one I knit all in one yarn. Absolutely love it. I wear it a load, but the sleeves are quite short. The sleeves are about that long. And it's great to wear over a long sleeve t-shirt, but the bit of me that gets cold really first are my upper arms, and it doesn't quite come down long enough to keep my upper arms warm. So when I did this one, I made the sleeve a little longer, and I've picked up the stitches that were on hold that you would normally then do the bind off, and then I've just repeated each colour once and then bound off. So they're, I don't know, 3 inches longer than the pattern suggests, but I think that's enough just to give me a little bit extra warmth. Other than that, I made no alterations to the pattern, apart from the original pattern is 2 colour stripes and I've used 3. So these 2 yarns came from a shop which is now closed. This paler green yarn came from Amanda at Little Lycac, and it is, I think, Mojito. Don't know whether she's got any of it left in the shop, because I did buy it a few months ago. Really nice to knit with. And yeah, that's that. It fits, which the first one didn't, obviously. The second one did. The second one's fine. And I debated whether to wear it to show you today, but I thought I can show you better if I put it on a hanger. So that's what I've done. So that's one of my 2 largest projects off the needles. I've got a blanket on the needles. The blanket is Simple Stripes blanket. I won the kit, and that is now going to go upstairs to become my sitting in bed either before I go to sleep or when I wake up in the morning knitting, to replace this. This is a neck warmer, and this is knit in King Cole Footsie in the kiwi fruit colourway, and it's very stretchy. I should have said before now, actually, if you are married to me, I have given birth to you, or you're married to someone to whom I have given birth, don't watch any further, because you'll spoil Christmas. I don't think any of you watch anymore, but just in case. So this is a neck warmer. I've made it quite long, so it can either be worn like this, all kind of bunched up. It can be pulled up over your head like a hood. You can fold it in half and wear it as a neck warmer. this is going to do my hair no good. My hair, which is normally wavy to the point of curly, has taken great exception to the change in the weather and has become very dry, very frizzy, and impossible to do anything with. So this is going to do it no good at all. But you can also wear it as a hat by taking the excess, folding it over and tucking it in at the bottom. Let me see if I can show you. Let me wriggle round. Hang on. I think you can see that. So that's my own design. If design is a very posh word for, I cast on some stitches and did a 5x3 rib and just knit the entire ball. Not much designing thought went into it, but that is a gift knit done. Another one done, Musselburgh hat for my brother. It's a DK one, so it knit up really quickly. It's very comfy. I don't think it's going to be overly warm, and I knit it in Starcraft Special DK in shade 1063, which is graphite, because my brother's colours really are grey, navy, black. If you want to go wild, brown, but that's a bit, so grey is safe. 2 of my gift knits complete. I showed you last week the cowl I'd made for my husband, who had questioned me about what I was knitting, which he never does, never, and finally worked out that it was for him. So he's had that. He's already wearing it. Look at the state of my hair now, look. Yeah, so I've got to make him something else for Christmas now. So I'm doing another Musselburgh. And I'm doing him this one in fingering weight. And this is West Signature 4-ply. And the colourway is Owl. I've said before, quite a few months ago, we have a bit of a private joke between us about owls. It all comes from a programme called Phone Shop, which if you're abroad you probably have never heard of. But there is a particular scene in it where 2 of the main characters are discussing a tattoo, and it doesn't sound at all funny in the repeating of it. But one of them says it was a tattoo of an owl, and the other one goes, "A owl?" And then they carry on saying "a owl" for ages. So now every time one of us sees anything remotely owl shaped, we have to say "a owl." Judging me blood. I know, I'm sorry. This is more about my life than you need to know in a knitting podcast. I do realise that, but I'm just giving you some context, okay? So that's for him, to replace the one that he already guessed he was getting. I was working on these. Just a little pair of mitts. And I was 6 rows away from finishing this. If you've watched before, you will know that one of my least favourite things to do is colour work. But I saw these mitts and I knew I had to knit them, because the person they're for loves elephants. And I put aside my dislike of colour work and knit them. She also has very small hands, and so I was trying to pull everything quite tight to make it smaller. And it's kind of worked. I mean, they are a little bit small for me, so they would have fit, but I do not like the finish I'm getting. I don't know how well you can see, but it's very ridgy. It's very, it almost looks like ribbing. I don't like it. I wasn't happy with it. The back, or the palm of the mitt is fine, but because of the way I've caught the floats every other stitch, and that's what's pulled it so tight and made it look like ribbing. So, I mean, the floats, great, perfect, nothing's going to get caught on those, but I don't like the finish I'm getting. So I had to bite the bullet. I didn't, and I realised I was going to have to go down a needle size and just knit at my normal gauge. And I didn't have, this is a 2.25, I did not have a 2mm cable needle. So it was goodbye magic loop, and I had to get out some DPNs. Ruth from the Ruth Loves to Knit podcast calls them devil sticks. If they're 2mm, they're the devil's toothpicks. I'm quite a tight knitter anyway, and I keep bending them. I'd got some little bamboo ones out first of all. Well, they stood no chance. So I fished about until I found some metal ones, and they're doing a little better. But there's probably a limited number of times you can bend them back straight. So it is coming out better. I'm still tugging it a little bit too tight, I think. So I don't know if you can see the difference in size. It's coming out overall about an inch smaller, which I think will do the job. Let me just, yeah, can't really see very well, but yeah, it's do the other side, Mandy. Come on, brain. It's very hard doing this back to front. It's maybe less than an inch actually, now I look at it. They'll have to do. I'm not pulling them down again. So that's all the gift knitting that I have on the needles at the moment. And I don't know if any of you are gift knitting, but two of the podcasters that I watch, Amanda from Southern Knits in the Mitt and Karen from A Yarn Tale, are having a gift mail. So if you pop onto Ravelry and look at either of their groups, you can enter your gifts, even if it's a gift for yourself, into their mail, which I think, I think it ends next Wednesday, 1st of December. I'd better start knitting a bit faster. The other thing I wanted to mention, the podcast I wanted to mention, is someone who's become quite a friend of mine, because we Zoom, is Tonya. And Tonya's podcast is called Karma's a Stitch. She does it with her son Anthony. And I won a prize. And I'm very excited about this. I've won 2 prizes this year, and that's 2 prizes more than I've won in the whole of the rest of my life. I'm very grateful that I got into the knitting world. But where I was going with that was, Tonya is going to run another prize draw if she can get her subscriber numbers up to 100. So I wanted to recommend the podcast. She's great fun. If you're in the US, she also has a Zoom Knitter Natter on a Monday night for you and a Tuesday morning for you. I join in her Tuesday morning one which is Tuesday evening for me. My Zooms, see what I mean about chaos? My Zooms, while I remember, are continuing. I started them during the sock along, but they are continuing, and they are on a Thursday at 11 o'clock GMT and 5 o'clock GMT, 5 o'clock in the evening. So if you are interested in joining those, just drop me a message either by email or on Instagram Messenger, and I'll let you have the info to get into the meetings. Sidetracked again. But what I was trying to say was, if you want to have a look at Tonya's podcast and subscribe, you've got a chance of winning a prize. I'm very excited for my prize. Very excited. You will see it in due course. It's got to come from America, so it may be a few weeks yet. I think that's everything I had to tell you, apart from my confessions. I may have bought another skein of yarn, but there's no may about it because here it is in my hand. So Alex and Danny from My Yarny Corner did an update to their Etsy shop on Friday evening, I think it was, and I bought this one. This is called Whale House Rock, and you can't really see, I couldn't see until I got it in my hands, how beautifully speckled it was. There's some sort of grey, brown, green, I'm not quite sure. Green, really. There's a pink one, which I think might just have been where the colour split. I don't know if there's any more in there. There's an orange one there. There might be. But it was so pretty. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Did you all go like that then? You know, when back in the 80s, 3D films came out at the cinema. I think Jaws was one. Ghostbusters. They did it a lot with horror films. It might have been Nightmare on Elm Street or something. And I remember everybody in the cinema sort of like shrieking and ducking out the way. So I'm sorry if I just did that to you. Though this is not in 3D, so probably not. Yes, let me try again without doing that. So it's got this lovely pale turquoise. My favourite variegated yarns at the moment seem to be very dark variegated, and I've got one from Alex that I want to knit into something, but it's so beautiful that I keep it in the skein, and I don't really want to knit it because I can see I'm going to end up framing it or something. Or like this one and the one I showed you last week, they are pastel variegated. I'm a complex person. I'm a Libra, you see, so, you know, scales and all that. Anyway, pretty sure that is everything for this week. It is a short one. I do apologise for that. I had my third COVID jab on Monday and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to podcast today at all. But obviously I'm feeling a lot better today. Oh, and let me just apologise to everyone who was at Knit and Natter on Monday night or Tuesday night who had to listen to me whinging on constantly about how much my arm hurt. I apologise. My arm is now better, all free, and yes, sorry for being such a baby. And that is all I have to say. Yes, it's definitely all I have to say. I've shown you everything that I've knit. So I'm going to say, happy knitting. I will see you all next week. Bye everyone.